All right, recording is now live. All right, guys, this video is going to be me getting, we'll call it trained on the power of Lately as the application that we're considering for future client use, as well as just teaching more people about Lately. So please take over, sir.
Awesome, awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Evan with Lately. I run sales and customer success. So if you're interested after you see Scott's video, reach out to him or reach out to me and we'll take care of you.
Awesome.
Um, so I'm going to tailor this presentation to Scott, but I'll throw in some key things that we do. So I'll start actually with our consistency scanner. So when you come on board with Lately, we actually do a consistency scan of your URL, and then we ping Google to get your highest keywords. So as you can see here, Scott's a sexy boss. He's fuel, fit warrior, meal bag. These are some of his keywords that are resonating on Google AdWords, and you can
Which
see
is
the
funny
rank and
because half
frequency.
of those are from podcast blog posts that I push, because I'm actually not the sexy boss. That is actually a woman who's been on my podcast show.
Awesome, awesome. And so you can see that these are the keywords that are ranking. We'll also analyze social channels. So one of the things that we're trying to help folks do, whether they're sole entrepreneurs or if they're large organizations, is that you want your audience to receive the same message across all channels. And it's really hard to do and really hard to stay organized if you're a big team or if you're a small person because you don't have the time, right?
Mhm.
So what we do is we analyze to make sure that, as you can see, all his URL endings are very consistent. That's really good for SEO. It's also really good for organic search, and it's really good for organic content generation or organic traffic to your website.
Right.
So
I,
we'll
I
also
actually
note,
teach people that. I'm like, guys, if you have a brand, like my brand name is Live the Fuel, try and make it consistent across all the platforms. But it is hard nowadays. More and more people are locking down Twitter and Instagram left and right. So it's really hard to help really tie all the tag names together.
yeah, and then I think, that's just going to being creative with your name, right? Maybe dropping an L, dropping a Y, however
Yeah.
you guys like to do it. So as you can see here, one thing we did pull is that, there is a meta description that is missing from Scott's website. So on this call and when you sign up for Lately, you can learn about what things you can do to help increase your SEO.
Well,
So
that's really cool.
Scott might want to pay attention to that. And also he left the description out of his intro. I love that Scott has Google Plus, by the way, because most people don't know there's a secret SEO trick. Google loves everything that is Google related. No one
Mhm.
goes to Google Plus, but if you post to Google Plus, SEO scores are going to go higher and you're going to start to rank higher.
Which again is interesting because you're pointing out things that are missing, and those things used to be there. So I'm wondering why the intro was gone. Like, I built the heck out of Google Plus. I was consistently publishing to Google Plus probably up until 6 months ago, just because of that SEO reason. So,
Hmm.
and I'm wondering why my
Well,
meta is missing from my website, because I just have my website guys working on it. So I'm not
well,
happy.
it's no big deal. You can go back and fix it, and
But
it
this is
might be
good
that we're
for
pinging
this
the
is good
wrong
for this
URL.
training session,
So I'll check it out.
because even me,
Yeah,
like, I'm finding stuff that's missing that shouldn't be missing.
exactly, exactly. And we do something that's really cool. So like you might have a designer that designs your website, but you don't know what the color codes are. So we actually do a little like style guide for you and just pull the colors that are across your social channels or across your website. And then obviously pull in some images that are relative to your brand. So it's a quick consistency scan, and that's how you start with Lately. And the
Mhm.
reason this is important is that we use these keywords and we create keyword messaging for you. So if my internet works, because I'm still on video. Um, cool. Well, let's move. Yeah, so as you can see, well, here, I'll just be more
You're
patient.
coming through fine on my end.
Oh, cool. So if you can see the keywords here, basically when you sign on, your foundational campaign tag will be these keywords. Now you're
Mm.
going to want to update those because we use those keywords in our AI to keep your messaging consistent so that your audience is hearing the same voice.
So I can actually remove, for example, like sexy boss, because apparently that must be just a top performing blog
Exactly.
post.
Exactly. So you would want to remove that, maybe put in some more fitness things.
Yeah.
If you have event language coming up or other things like that, you'd want to put that into your keywords. And keywords go to the extent of you can put a tagline in, elevator pitch. I noticed that your Instagram, if you look down here, your Instagram had some common, your Twitter, your Instagram also had the same hashtags. So you'll probably want to pull those hashtags into your hashtags. And so if they're missing when you generate a post with us, we will notice and say, hey, you want to put those hashtags back in, drive more traffic.
Right.
And so that's the first point with lately. Now, the real cool thing that we've developed is this. This is our auto generator. Now, what do I mean by auto generate? It means that we're able to take content, written content, and as in the second week of October, we'll be able to do audio and video content. And you can put it into our generator. We will then use natural language processing, and I'm going to show you in a minute, to break that content from that long content, video, audio, into short little posts that you can edit quickly, put some fire, jazz them up, and then schedule so that you can fill out your content, your calendar content, sorry, content calendar. There we go. Content calendar, content calendar in as little as half an afternoon. So
and are you referring to, are you guys also have that built in here? Like I already hinted that I use Trello as my top favorite for building out content calendars, but are you saying you guys have a calendar feature built in here as well for content management?
So yeah, we will, once you schedule content, we do put it in a calendar so you can have a social calendar. Now it wouldn't be tied to your content calendar in Trello. At this point, we don't have an integration there. Okay. So, you know, I went to Scott's website here. I found this, you know, this blog post he did. I'm going to grab that URL. Now there's two ways to generate content with us. Number one is from a link from your blog or someone else's blog or a news article, a white paper, ebook, whatever it may be. So you can use the link and throw it in here, or you can open the auto generator and you can copy and paste any text in here. It needs to be at least 1,000 characters so that we can create enough posts for you. But you know, if you have a 25-page book, you could throw it in there.
So you're hinting here is like if people would manually paste in here, you're referring to copy and pasting, let's say manually the entire blog article?
Yeah. Okay. Exactly, because some websites are going to have firewalls. Some magazines do have firewalls to protect, you know, just sharing their content if it, you know, has like a sign-in requirement. Sure. So you can copy and paste that and you can throw it in here. Or if your content's really long, you might want to just copy and paste it.
Oh, so a good example is I've been writing. I'm now apparently an author. I never planned on it, but I've been writing small articles for a local paper. Or sorry, like a local magazine called Network Magazine. So they release a new article every quarter. And what I've been doing is I've been waiting, giving them the exposure initially. And then because I'm the author, I take the same article and then I publish it to my blog, you know, a couple months later, just to tie it all together and communicate and tie it to their site, tie it back to my site, yada, yada, yada. The point is that I could technically just take their link of my article and start creating these broken up posts.
Exactly. Right. So if you look here, I'm going to throw in that URL that we found earlier. I'm going to throw in some hashtags that I found on Scott's Twitter. I'm tying it to the foundational tab. Now you can manage your default settings. I'm going to show you additional options, but we're gonna generate without it.
Okay.
And so here you can create. Now this is really cool. So you want to use the same content, right? Because maybe that's the only blog you wrote for the week, or maybe you forgot and like you didn't write a blog every week, so you only had 2 this month. So you can use the same content, but you can make it feel fresh. So
well, the good thing is I release 2 podcast shows a week, every Monday and Friday, and they come with a podcast blog post article. Like you pulled that link from my traditional blog, but I technically have 2 blog feeds on my site. One is dedicated to the podcast, 2 shows a week. And then there's just the traditional blog, which I barely publish to because I'm so busy with the podcast. So it's easy to have new content for me.
Gotcha. Absolutely. And, you know, you can add a bunch of different images here. So your content might be the same, right? You're sending them to the same blog or the same podcast, but your images aren't. So when they're on Twitter and when they're on Facebook, when they're on LinkedIn, they're seeing different images, but they're still getting, you know, pulled back to the same piece of content. Mm-hmm. So now this is what I think is kind of really cool, is that you can rotate images, you can put @ mentions in. However, what if you want to call to action? So Scott on his website has a schedule feature, right? Where it's like schedule a 15-minute intro with him, schedule an hour interview with him, right? He's trying to get people to engage with him and have a meeting with him. Well, what if he could use this blog post that he actually already spent 2 to 3 hours probably writing in tandem with the length of the podcast, throw in the hashtags that he wants at the people that he wants to meet with, and then put his own meeting link, I think it's this one, his own meeting link as the call to action. So when you put a new link in here, instead of basically making this a bit.ly link and then putting that into the link, we're actually going to use this link to create the content. And then we're
Interesting.
going to put this link in as the call to action. So you can also rotate hashtags. We're not going to do that for this case. So listen, we're going to hit auto generate. What we're going to do is we're going to take a few seconds. Listen, we ping IBM's Watson. He's a smart guy. He helps us with the artificial intelligence. And he's an it, really. I don't know if he's a guy. I don't want to. So we've got 26 drafts here. So we were able to create 26 drafts for Scott's content. We've created the call to action here with Live the Fuel and schedule. Now, all Scott needs to do is take the time to read these, see which ones he likes, what pieces of the blog that we pulled out that he thinks are interesting. He can hit, edit here. And
I could switch hashtags I wanted to, like those current hashtags were literally me leaving Buffalo, New York today. So
exactly.
Yeah, right. They don't match up with this, but yeah.
So you switch the hashtags that you want. You can edit it. Maybe you want to throw in another hashtag. Maybe, a different @. Maybe you want to take out flow and just start it with fundamentals. Once you've edited it, you're going to save it to your drafts.
Okay.
Right. So in the content, in the generator, you want to think about like starting your strategy off as like, I'm going to generate content here. So maybe I've got 5 URLs open on my docket here. And so I'm going to generate content from all of those. I'm going to go through all the content. Maybe it's, 50 posts that I've generated. I'm going to go through and select the ones that are really meaty to me. And then from there, I'm going to go to my pipeline. So pipeline is where you manage all the execution of your content. So as you can see, I've generated content for Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I apologize as it's my internet with video that slows me down.
We're doing a lot here. We're screen sharing. We're
doing it all.
Posts, so yeah.
So as you can see, I've moved a couple of those posts over so we can take a look at them. So let's take a look at them. I'm not sure if this blog had a picture in it, so we can do a quick preview here where we can see, boom, that's what the post is going to look like when it goes to Facebook. So you can do a quick gut check to take a look at that.
Maybe so this is interesting. So is this something you guys recommend where you're using my call to action to my scheduling link? So it's not actually driving traffic back to that blog article. You're just pulling out content from the blog article and hoping that people obviously really connect with that short script of content and then go use my scheduling link instead of trying to find the blog article.
Yeah, so think of it as social selling, right? So you're trying to get them to a lead form. Maybe it's a webinar that you're promoting. Hey, if you want to know more, like maybe it's a live podcast. You wrote the blog article first, right, to get word out there, and you want everyone to attend your live podcast. You can use that as a call to action. You can also do it to go back and share your content. This is just another option, another layer, since we were explaining both. So
I like that. That's interesting because if we're trying to increase downloads of a podcast, for example, or increase subscribers to a podcast, you could say, hey, here's just a snippet of Monday's podcast that already went up. If you want to listen to it or please subscribe, my call to action link would be to drive them to the iTunes link to my show and get people to subscribe and download.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So we've created 33 drafts, and this is not just all your content, obviously, but it's across Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Now, we can use this little box here and schedule on a one-off basis. But here's my recommendation is to actually just use our bulk scheduler. So you tell us how many times a day you want to post. It'll post that many times a day to each channel. So that's something to be mindful of. Okay. And then you can tell us the time and you can tell us the start date. And then your content counter's filled up. Now, what does pick automatically mean? This is actually a new feature just this week, and it's pretty freaking cool. So let me show you how it's cool. Let's go over here. So this is our analytics once it pops up. And so what we are able to do is we're able to keep you consistent on your messaging. We are able to quickly save you time on generating content, and we're able to prove ROI of your social channels coming to bring traffic back to your website. So as you can see here, I am in our Lately dashboard. This is our physical one. This is our business. You can see that Lately's Google Analytics are tied to our analytics here. And so you can see the peaks and valleys of our social channels. This is Twitter right here. You can see that actually increased traffic. So it's a pretty interesting thing, but here's the really cool part. So after 6 weeks of posting content on our platform, we actually start to learn what time of day and what day of the week you see the most engagements and impressions on a post. So when you say pick automatically after you generated content, we're using your historical data to pick the times to push out that content.
Oh,
so that we
nice.
increase your engagement on your typical days.
As I say, if you're linking Google Analytics and you're linking the social media profiles and their impression data and their insights data, it makes sense just to take a summary of that and just load that into your action program. So,
Exactly.
because right now I
And
literally manually analyze all that stuff as it is. Like I'm always analyzing YouTube data versus Instagram data versus Twitter impressions versus Facebook impressions. So,
yes, so if you look here, you can actually see that we have a bunch of accounts connected individual. This is my Twitter, obviously. This is
sure.
our CEO's old Twitter when she was a radio DJ. So you can see all the traffic and you can analyze it on a per channel basis. We do Instagram analyzation. And then we also do some things that are helping you to think about the content that you're writing. So we'll show you, over historical period of this is, August 6th to the 5th, we can show you like what things are trending. So like when you start to think about your blog and what words to include, you might want to look here and look at your keywords.
So are you guys literally putting the font size based on the popularity too, by the way, visually?
Exactly. Yep.
Cool. So like demo was a big popular word. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
we actually had a demo day as you can see, demo day at SAP. So we're in the SAP Foundry right now. It's an incubator backed by SAP, and they had a demo day. So that was actually right around in between this time actually.
Okay.
So you can see it was a big trend for us, and we were leading up to it. You can see hashtags. You can see and then down way below. And this is the full analytics suite. So this does come at a price, guys. But down way below, you can actually see top performing posts for that time period. And this is really helpful for when you're like thinking about, okay, what kind of content do I want to post?
No, I
So
mean, that's very analytical.
the other thing I would mention is just the calendar. So one cool thing about the calendar is that you might have a physical event. Now, you might also have a digital event, right? So if you can see here on Tuesdays, we have our live webinar. It's for our current customers to learn about new features, to ask questions, to really engage with our customer success team to make sure that they've got full understanding of the power of Lately and that they're using it correctly for their brand. And so we actually tie a lot of our social traffic from Saturday to Monday to get people to come to the webinar. But it's really nice to visually be able to see, oh, okay, cool. Like we've got some good posts. We're a little light maybe on Sunday here, but that's okay. We posted, last time at 3:55.
Yeah. And weekends are light anyway, so.
Exactly. And you could do it as a daily, or you can do it as a Gantt chart, so that you can see kind of like volume across channel. So that's pretty interesting. And then the other cool thing, which, I'm not sure if it's relevant to you personally, Scott, but it might be relevant to some of the people you're talking to, is that with Lately, we actually can do something that's pretty cool. I'm actually going to go back to our dashboard, is social selling. So with most, platforms, they're going to take your core channels, which are your company channels, and maybe the CEO's channel, and they're going to let you, bring those channels onto the platform. So we're on a per dashboard basis. So you want to think of the dashboard as for your brand. And
Okay.
so your brand is also the people that you hire. And so if you've got, we've got some customers that have, a 45-person sales team, they're in the field. And you know what the salesperson doesn't want to get? An email from marketing, or an email from their social media person, or a Slack channel response from the social media person of, hey guys, can you post this?
Yeah.
Because no salesperson's going to do that because they've got their own job that they have to do. So you can
Right.
actually connect, and I'll show you. We've connected all of our team's channels.
Wow.
So Lately actually manages my social channels for me for the Lately brand. Now, they don't post anything crazy, right? They're posting things about our webinar. They're posting things that I would actually post and be totally fine with. It gets thrown into an email, gets thrown into a Slack channel since I know about it. But, I'm 2 months on to this job, guys, and I have 15,000 LinkedIn followers. So
Wow.
that's a pretty big channel for Lately to tap into. So that they can also reach that audience. I've been in Maritech for 8 years, so like this is pretty powerful for them.
Mm-hmm.
And just to throw out some stats, is we've seen 55% of all of our leads on a month-to-month basis come from organic social traffic. A typical Lately customer sees anywhere from 3 to 8x increase in organic traffic to their website. So
Wow.
I'm not sure how much people know, but if you're having less than 10,000 visitors to your website on a month, it can be a predictor that you're not garnering enough audience and that your revenue will be lower than someone that is getting above 10,000. And it's a pretty standard statistic in the startup world. So
No, this is
that's something that
interesting
we give a
because
barometer about.
I've got a client who's got a bigger following than I do, much more successful podcast show, etc. He's an author, and he's trying to self monetize so he doesn't have to do ads on his podcast. And so he's got, I don't know if you're familiar with Amazon launched influencer pages where you can,
Yeah.
yeah, so I have an influencer page. He's got an influencer page. So the banners on my site and the banners on his site all connect directly to our influencer page. So he's always trying to drive his followers like, listen, guys, if you want to help the show and keep it going and keep it, more ad free, whenever you go on Amazon, just click through my banner. And by the way, it also goes to my influencer page. So if you ever want to see the gear that I've already bought, I've put stuff on my influencer page that I personally believe in. So it's funny because he started it and I'm now doing the same thing because I get a kick out of it. And it'd be cool to eventually get, those little pennies on the dollar from Amazon as a business partner. But the interesting thing is he's trying to drive more traffic to his site for that exact reason. He wants to increase his Amazon monetization strategy on that. So,
yeah, that would be something that would be spectacular here.
yeah.
So, Scott, I know I was talking a lot. I'm gonna throw it back in your seat and answer any questions you have.
So, as far as your posting, it looks like you guys definitely can drive content to Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Yep, and LinkedIn, all natively.
And right now, there's
video as well. So we can post natively. So if you put in your files video, we can do that. Scott, do you have an RSS feed on your blog?
Of course, yeah, because of the
so
podcast.
You can actually
podcasting requires RSS, so
you can actually just connect your RSS feed, and then when you get into the generator, you can just say generate from RSS, and we'll just take all RSS feeds that you have in there, and we'll generate content for you really quick.
Wow. So because I literally publish new podcasts every Monday and Friday, those RSS feeds are sent out. All the RSS for the podcast is directly tied to all the podcast apps. So iTunes and Stitcher Radio and Google for podcasting, they all pull from my RSS feed. So you guys would literally pull all that data as well.
Exactly.
And it would start auto-generating those lists of potential posts that I can approve?
Yep. And in the first week of October, we'll have Google Plus. So you can just post to Google Plus. So just post away. And then
I still feel like I know Google Plus it's not even a blip on the radar in the social scheme anymore. But to your point you made on this training episode, people who watch this and listen in, is that it's still Google. They still want you pushing content in their world. So but if there's a way to automate that, that's a huge win.
Exactly. And so you can automate it here. I would say also the second week of October, we're going to have the, transcription service. So your podcast, then we're going to transcribe it and then auto-generate.
Now you see there's been other apps I've been testing. You heard of Lumen 5?
Yeah. I like Lumen 5.
So I've been testing Lumen 5. Are you guys trying to do what they're doing as well as add imagery into it too, or no?
We're not doing that yet.
Okay. You're going to focus on the audio clip?
We're going to focus, well, the video, we can translate the video and then we can post your video natively or a clip of your video, but we're going to use the transcription to create the post. So those zinger quotes that we've been doing back and forth on this trading call, those quotes are what we're going to pull out so that you can just post that quote and then be like, watch the video here.
Interesting. Now, does this post to YouTube?
So we don't post to YouTube or Vimeo yet.
Okay. All right. I was just saying because
if you give us the file or give us the link, we can auto generate off of it.
So you can generate the video because right now, obviously, I actually my podcast I record audio and video. So I'm one of the rare shows that actually has everything going to my YouTube channel as well. I publish video file to the YouTube, and then I'm considering because I've been just focusing on building the YouTube, which all of a sudden it literally like activated in the past 4 weeks. All of a sudden I went from 900 subscribers. Once you cross that 1,000 plane, I'm now like 1,500 plus in the past 3 weeks. All of a sudden, I'm now seen as a legitimate influencer in YouTube because I just keep seeing my subscribers increase, my views increase. And all I've been doing is consistently publishing 2 shows a week, to the podcast world and to the YouTube world. And that I keep telling people, like, that's what you got to do. You have to, YouTube is owned by Google. They want to see that you're a an influencer, and that you actually are a content creator, as they call it.
And that you're consistent, right? It's
Right.
about consistency over and over again, right?
Yeah, because most of my videos are on average an hour long, so they're like 30 to 60-minute episodes. But you're saying you would actually have people load the actual core file into your
Yeah,
application,
exactly.
and then I could then generate that video to Facebook
Yep, natively.
natively,
Now,
and
I
natively to
would
Twitter.
recommend, yeah, natively to Twitter and Facebook. I would recommend, though, with those platforms, one of the key things to know, and this is actually not from me, this is from our CMO, Brian Kramer, who's one of the top 10 social media experts in the world, is that 30 seconds or less are what performs best. So you'd actually want to know what in that video file, what's the, upload the video file, but then the video that you want to share, want it to be like a quick clip so that they get a taste for you, right?
Yeah,
And
and
then
your
they click
system
into
can
the
chunk
full
it
video.
out.
We can't chunk it out. So you'd have to tell us which part, right? And trim it down for us at this
Okay.
point. But it's definitely something on the roadmap to be.
No, because that's huge. Because there's other podcasters out there. I forget the app that they're using, but there's apps besides Lumen. There's another app that literally will grab just a chunk of video, and they're a lot of these guys are doing that now. They're pushing those 30-second clips to get people excited for the actual video podcast or video that you published, and they're
Yep.
using that for social media. So I'm intrigued by that too, because I haven't actually been taking the entire video episode that I put on YouTube and publishing it back to Facebook yet, even though Facebook, they don't want you sending traffic to YouTube. They want you to stay in Facebook. So that's an upcoming strategy. I was going to start publishing the entire episodes back on Facebook now as well to make them happy. It's just,
Well, what
again,
you could do? You could actually embed the video from YouTube to your website. And then,
it already is.
Well, then just link it to your website on Facebook. Then Facebook won't even know you're sending it back to YouTube.
Yeah, I've actually been testing the algorithms, and Facebook doesn't like you sending any traffic away from them. So one of the strategists, marketing guys I work with, just because he's a marketing guy, I'm a marketing guy. We're in the inner circle. I've been actually, instead of publishing the episode, my URL to Facebook, I've been doing the whole, how you're an Instagram. I take my podcast episodes graphics, and I create them in 3 versions: Facebook friendly thumbnail, YouTube friendly thumbnail, and Instagram friendly thumbnail. So the graphic that's on the website is Facebook friendly, which also looks great in Twitter and everything else. YouTube gets their own custom one that I upload with the video in the YouTube world. So to make Facebook happy, I've been testing this. I post the image on Instagram, copy and paste a piece of the blog post content in the messages. And then I swipe that little bar saying, go ahead and post to Facebook, because then just the image goes to Facebook and just the text. But in the text, I do have in there in the message, it says to, read more, visit livethefuel.com/215 for episode 215. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
So in the end, the URL does end up getting linked within the content on Facebook, but I didn't actually load and hyperlink the actual direct URL to the website. It came through with the text from Instagram. So that's that. Without having lately, that's what I've been doing for now. Is I post to Instagram and I just swipe for Twitter and swipe for Facebook and then dump it because Facebook is not. It's a pay-to-pay platform right now. So I'm just duplicating content there just so it exists. Exactly. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but.
Well, I mean, I think, I am of the same nature. I use Instagram to post to Facebook because and sometimes I don't want my friends and family to see what I'm posting on Instagram because it's goofy, I'm out with friends. So I won't hit Facebook, but if there's a kid friendly post that my, little cousin in Indiana is going to see, I'll hit Facebook and post it.
Well, and for your platform, yes, Live the Fuel is my brand, but then just to test out algorithm changes, my Instagram profile is technically a business profile on Instagram. So I went ahead and started a Scott W. Mulvaney personal profile on Instagram, and I have a Scott W. Mulvaney personal profile on Twitter, and then I have my Scott W. Mulvaney, Facebook page for me. So there is 2 worlds.
Exactly.
Right? So Like a lot of my keto friendly, healthy fats food dishes that I post are not going on Live the Fuel. They're going through my personal feed. And I'm just doing this right now to experiment to see how the traffic differs. Only because ever since I swiped that little feature when Instagram said, hey, your page should be a business feed, because it is a business too, I went ahead and said yes. And then all of a sudden I saw my results just drop off the face of the earth. Like a personal profile months ago was performing better than my business profile.
Wow, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? So I tried switch, and you can switch it back to a personal profile, and it's never performed the same. I had way more hearts, way more comments, way more interaction. My Live the Fuel kind of like flatlined on Instagram. So it's just something it's like, fine. I was like, I'm going to experiment now for the past few months and have a personal feed as well, and just see who can grow faster. So, but to your point, I can load all that in here.
Yep.
I can have both Instagrams, both Twitters,
yep.
whatever.
And we'll do all the analytics to show your reporting. So you can see it, side by side. So going back to the analytics to your point and to kind of hammer this home, if you had your, let's say, we have a little Try Lately Instagram, but you also had, Evan Walker's Instagram in here. You could, turn all these off and then just look at these side by side so you could see which one's performing better.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and you can see here.
Now, do all these things work during the trial period, so you can see how the stuff starts getting analyzed?
Yes, our trial period's 14 days. It's free, and it does. You will see all of this if you pay me, because our current trial is our lowest tier because it's the easiest to understand.
As I say, it looks like this could get very robust. So
yes, so it's our lowest tier. But if you want to explore the full features, you just need to ping me. It's evan@trylately.com, or hit me up on Twitter. It's right here. Yeah. And I'll take care of you. I'll just bump you up for your trial experience.
Well, and again, for people watching this video, I'm such a jackass that I literally scanned my site and then I registered. I didn't realize I was in this trial because I didn't realize all this functionality existed because I never dug into it. I literally just let it go, and I kept getting the emails saying that my trial is ending, and I didn't realize what I was missing out on. And then I went ahead and scanned some of my client sites because I really liked the just like a nice surface level analysis of a person's domain. And because I was like, hey guys, this is what I've been saying. Like, we need to work on this and this just from your free report that you guys can run to scan your site. So just to throw you guys a plug on here is the scan your site thing is pretty sweet. So
yeah, and then that's free. So you can go to our freemium tools at the bottom.
To your point, because I think in my account or in my site, whatever, I think I saved all that. So I think I have a dashboard for me. I might have created a dashboard for one of my clients' brands by accident because I scanned his site.
Yep. Yeah,
okay.
Probably did.
Okay. So I could do that too. Like, my clients technically don't have to do all this. I can be doing this for them as a service.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a great way to scale too. So we actually have some agencies that operate all on social, and we have one agency that has a super dashboard which gets him view one single sign-on to all of his clients. And he started with us with one dashboard. Then the next month it was 4 dashboards, and now it's 17. So he has 17 clients, and he's been able to get time back in his day from having to write the social post to actually bring on more business. So he's now engaging his team to bring on more business for social because they can just scale with Lately.
Interesting. Because this is something that I'm probably going to present to my client on Saturday, because the one owner of the company he's older. No offense, there's not ageism, but he's just like, dude, he's like, I hate Instagram. And I like, I get it, man. There's some people who just don't want to deal with it. But for rapid brand growth and exposure and following right now, Instagram outperforms Facebook. That's why Facebook bought him. It's just they've locked down their algorithm so tight in the Facebook world. They want you to pay to play, and you got to pay to boost. So
yeah, exactly. And too bad the co-founders of Instagram just left.
So I'm worried about what's going to happen next. But for now, we have to capitalize on this while we can. Right?
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll start another company, and it'll be another hot ticket.
So one thing I didn't ask you guys was, I think it's important to have on this video, is why did you guys create this? Or who?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will tell the story that is actually my CEO's story. So we started to build this because my CEO had her own marketing agency. She was doing everything on spreadsheets. She had a huge client for 3 years, Walmart and United Way.
Wow.
And so she was working with other agencies. She was working with internal departments. She was working with United Way's agency and internal department and Walmart's. And she was managing everything on spreadsheets. And she had a really good system. She received 130% ROI year over year for her efforts.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive. And Walmart hired her again. And then the next year. And ultimately, she came to the conclusion that, like, I am figuring out how to organize a marketer's world for social way better than it's done today. And then she met one of our co-founders, and he said, this could totally be an app. I'll go hire someone and we'll build it. And then that's how Lately got started. And so we've been around for about 2 years, really at market, I would say, for a year. Okay. And we're growing. And we're seeing more and more traction, more and more features rolled out. You know, I'll tell you, outside of the features I mentioned, we actually have a partnership with Up Content. Up Content is an RSS aggregator. So they basically help your brand find places where there is content that would be relevant to your audience. And so we're going to be integrating them as of next week. End of next week, they'll be official.
Oh, is that to help diversify your posts? Like the stuff going in Twitter, for example?
Exactly. So, you know, you want to share, you know, if I was following Dom Diagnosino, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, right? You heard me say keto.
Yeah, yes, I did. Yeah. And I did that for about a year and a half, and then I ran a marathon and had to eat food. So, I still eat pretty high fat though. But I love Dom. He's awesome. Right. I like him on the Tim Ferriss podcast and whatever. But not to get too, I digress. Mm-hmm. You know, if you had his content, you could share his content, and Up Content kind of does that all for you. So they're a value add for sure, and it's just going to be a quick like button. You know, go look at your Up Content dashboard, click Lately, and we'll auto generate it for you. So okay. Awesome. So I just want to touch on September, just because you're going to be talking to the guy on Saturday, and maybe he'll watch this video, maybe he won't. But September this month.
I'm going to show him this video because actually, and if you guys are cool with it, I'll publish this to my YouTube because more people need to know this stuff.
Yeah, let me get approval for that first.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'd say is that, you know, in the month of September, if you join, you're going to get some pretty cool perks. If you join annually, we're going to give you 20% off. We're going to do an audit for you, like more than just what our consistency scan does, of not only your website and everything, your SEO, but also like your marketing strategy. And then we'll help you formulate a plan. It's around $1,000. We'll do 3 private one-on-ones because we know this is complex, right? But it's a lot less complex than the spreadsheet system that our CEO was using before. And then we'll invite you to a private webinar with Brian Kramer here, TED Talk host and one of the best marketers in the world. So you can just use that promo code if you want to join in September. Other than that, you know, to visit our pricing, just go to trylately.com/pricing, and you can see the different features and tiers. It's here.
Cool.
So take a look. You know, there's larger companies that work with us. You can see, you know, all the difference in the tiers, and you can make your decision. Lightly is great for that mom and pop that is starting out. Professionally is more for that person that wants high engagement. And so, you know, that narrows it to be $103 a month with the annual subscription. So feel free to ping me, evan@trylately.com.
Yeah.
Or Scott, we can set you up a referral page.
Yeah. No, I do have live affiliates with everything. So, you know, I use Aweber, Zoom. I'm an affiliate with all of it because awesome. I've talked about all. People love how easy it is to schedule with me on my website, and the scheduler is integrated in with Google Calendar, and it's integrated into Acuity scheduling, and it's integrated with Zoom. So when people register with me, they get boom, 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 boom. It's all linked up. So. Perfect. And it's because podcasting should be easy, not complex. So,
totally agree. I like that slogan.
Well, I think that answers most of my questions for now. I wanted to at least get this recording shut down so we don't run it extra long. And then I got a couple things I'll ask you off the line here. So stand by. And again, guys, just like he said, it's all there for you.